Good morning, YouTubadors and YouTubians. It is, I don't know, January 7th, and I truly didn't know. I haven't really paid attention. Before I get started on the morning coffee, I went to the post office today, picked up a few packages, and I had a few that were sent a week ago or so that I opened. I did a opening, filmed it, and then I went to use that SD card and formatted it. So you can't reopen things. And if I lost the notes, I'm sorry. First one, we got some nitrile rubber gloves. And this was sent from Chandel Ross. It says cut the stump all the way to the ground, drill some holes so the systematic will get into the stump. So this is for killing Chinese privet stumps and what have you. And she sent two good things of that. Man, I appreciate that. As soon as the weather gets a little better, I'll get out there and get on it. So we got that. That was last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago. And then also these nice Eddie Bauer sheet set. Look at that. It's got dogs on it. Really nice, light blue color. Those are nice. There's like the whole set's in there, and I appreciate that. If you don't know, there was no note in that. I think I have an idea who sent them, and I will have to get into the emails and look. I don't have any scissors, but I got this pocket knife. Then we got this today in the mail. See what we got. Wow, it's another package. Kind of feels like an Afghan. Could be Darley's. And we got enjoy your gift from Mo Alf, A-L-F, Mo Alf. Well, thank you very much, Mo. Let's see what we got here. Oh, more coffee. That's good because I'm low. Pike Place, well, this is the Starbucks brand. Pike Place Roast, medium roast. We got on that one. Let me see. There's two of them. Get open. Get open. Looks like that's the same kind. Coffee is, always usable. So I thank you, Mo. Yep, we got two things of coffee. Awesome. And I like tasting different kinds, because coffee can get old, the same old brand. I always stick to my Folgers, but it is nice to try other kinds. And some of that stuff you can't buy here. And this one. Let me get to the note. Let me see what that dude is. I don't see a note. No note. Mixed chopper. I'm still not sure what it is, folks. Looks like some kind of, well, look at that. Some kind of a mixer. I can see where that would be useful. It's a mixer chopper. Cool. So whoever sent that, I appreciate it. That is certainly going to be of some use. So anyway, I'm getting a late start today. It's probably about 11:30, quarter to 12. I went to Oklahoma, got some supplies, got my dog food, things like that. I ain't running out of dog food again. And so, when you have to drive at least once a week, 100 miles round trip, it gives you quite a bit of time to do some thinking. There's places the radio don't come in too well. I don't even have an antenna on that old truck, but, you get to looking at some of today's issues and the difference between how life is today and how it used to be, as far back as I can remember anyway. you know, back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, people didn't have 3 or 4 cars in their family. They certainly weren't, you know, most people didn't have brand new ones. And, you know, a lot of people, they bury themselves in debt. And it's not necessary. You know, you got a $500, $600, $700, $800 a car payment, truck payment, whatever you have. I've got a 92 Chevrolet that's paid for that I probably, at the very most, have probably put $1,500 into that in the 8 years I've had it. It'll get me to the same places that some of these fancy vehicles will. It's just a matter of how you think. You know, I don't have that need to keep up with the Joneses. I'd rather have other things than spend it every month on a vehicle payment, you know. And I've always thought that way. I've never liked having a vehicle payment. But a lot of today problems today with stress and things like that in people's lives they did it to themselves by buying stuff that they can't afford. You know, $300, $500,000 homes, expensive vehicles, just so they look good. You know, I'd much rather go sit in my truck where the heat don't work and all that than drive around in a fancy vehicle. We have to deal with, well, how am I going to come up with this month? And credit cards, you know, racking up crazy amounts of money on credit cards that you possibly can never pay back because the interest rates just eat you up, and then it eventually leads to bankruptcy. And I am not saying I have not been down that road. I have, you know, I wouldn't say I've had too many credit cards, but I have been to the point where I've gotten over my head and couldn't pay back everything, you know. I've had to give vehicles back, and I never did buy no big expensive brand new ones. But there's been times. But you know, when I was younger, I was terrible at paying bills, and I was not responsible. I cared more about having a good time and going out and having fun than I did about, is the electric going to be paid? Or, you know, when you're younger, those things, you know, it kind of comes with being younger. There are a lot of younger, responsible people that pay their bills. I mean, that's what I do now. The bills are paid right off. And the one train of thought I have that I wished I would have had all my life is, no matter how bad things get, or how bad you think they're getting, or how dismal things look, you'll it's going to be okay. You'll get around it. You know, you'll get through it. And so I live my life every day. You know, I don't look at my bank account, thank God, and say, hey man, how am I going to do? Because it always works out. That is my phrase. It always will work out if you let it. If you think negative all the time, guess what? Negativity will attract to you. If you think positive, good things happen. You know, you can't get a cold and go cower up in your bedroom and say, hey, I'm sick, I can't do this. Well, you just let it ride it out and get on, do something else. You do something with your hands. Don't sit there and whine about it when you can sit there and be productive. You know, unless you're in a coma or something, your brain works. But all I'm saying there is, if you're going to dwell on being sick, you're going to be sick. If you dwell on getting better, you'll get better. You know, a lot of our body is controlled by this brain up here and the way you think. And a lot of people think that's a bunch of phooey, you know. But I bet those people that think that are the ones having those kind of problems. And I may not have a whole lot, but I've worked for everything that I've got the last decade. And it's nice to be able to say, hey, you know, look at everything in here and say that's mine, and I own it. And I'm not sending somebody a payment once a month. And I am not knocking anybody's way of life. Some of us are just, that's all we know, is how we were raised, how you watched your parents go through life. And you may not know it, that there's any other way, but there is. You know, you have to be willing to sacrifice. You know, things don't come without a sacrifice, and by sacrifice I mean you got to be willing to give up the cable TV. So you know, give up everything you have in order to make your future better. And the only way to make your future better is to get out from under owing people money. There are a few things I still owe on. I won't mention anything of that, but I'm working on it. And as far as bills, you know, I got my electric bill, my phone, a few things like that. But significant, you know, they're not, I tried to say that earlier, significantly, okay, I said it, lower than the average person. And without those bills, without having those bills, you don't have the worries. So to me, that makes life so much better. You can, you know, people say poverty, oh, he's in poverty. Well, that's how society looks at things, by what's in your bank account. I don't look at things like that. I look at the way, how I feel. If I got $10 in the bank for the whole month, but I'm happy, I'm wealthy. And that's how people should think. And, you know, now more than ever, people are getting on drugs and things like that. You know, drugs have been around for a long time. The difference is, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, people did drugs for fun, to have fun, to feel fun. You know, I never got into drugs. Got into alcohol. But things that you enjoyed. Now they're doing it as crutches, pain. That's a big thing, you know. Doctors are prescribing these opiates or whatever they are for pain, and then when they get cut off, they go to the illegal drugs, and, you know, pain will not kill you. Pain is not a disease, it's a feeling. It's just your body telling you something ain't right, and you need to adjust for that. It's like being overweight. A lot of things hurt more when you're overweight. I know I'm overweight. And your body will let you know quite often, hey, you should not be this size. And if you are not this size, then you won't be in that kind of pain. And man, that is a struggle though, the weight thing. It's really big. But that's all pain is. And I wish they would invent a pain meter, and I guarantee you they probably have. I mean, they've got the lie detector. They can tell if you're lying. If they had a pain detector that doctors would use that would allow them to see actually the amount of pain somebody was in, and then prescribe medications on that versus what the person's telling them, you know, but there's one reason that will not ever happen. It's the pharmaceutical companies. They're not going to want anything like that. They like those drugs being sold and prescribed. So that's the world we live in. Where was that thing I saw? Let me leave it out. I'll use an example of how our world is changing, and you have to have your eyes open. But I go to the dollar store, and I always get these dish scrubbies, and there's like, I think there was 8 of them, maybe 6, but I think there was 8 because they're a lot smaller now, for $1. I'd use it, do one big dishwashing, throw it away. Well now, and they've been out for a while. Now they've got 5 in a pack for $1.50. So that's how, you know, you in today's world, you got to keep your eyes open. You're still gonna have to pay that $1.50 for that product. But the more people that are aware of what's going on, you know, bigger packaging, smaller. I'm looking at my vitamins this morning. You know, there's 100 vitamins in a bottle that big, and it's only taking up that much room. Well, that's because in the old days, all the packaging was that big, but it was full to the top. So now they want to keep the same size packaging and give you nothing. And that's how, and consumers, you know, especially now that the younger generations are coming into adulthood, that's all they know. They don't know, hey, that can used to be full of that, and now it ain't. Well, I know that, and they don't like us talking about it. So, all right, guys, I've been rambling too long. I appreciate the gifts, and I got one more request. I want to do an experiment. My YouTube is taking a massive massive hit this month and the end of December. I'm losing, I've been losing the subscribers. I'm down 50 subscribers, but I'm not getting the views. I don't know what it is. So I want to do an experiment. I've been researching. I have a video that has 262,000 views that made me quite a bit of revenue. And let's try something. I want to put a link up at the end of this video. Y'all go watch it, okay? Because if a video shows a sudden peak of interest, the algorithm picks it up. But I want to see if that'll jumpstart that video again. One video doesn't make much money. Excuse me. When you get a video that does that, that helps. That helps me to buy cameras and keep up with things and put more videos out. So I will put a link up in my end screen. It's that one of my renovation that y'all probably already seen. Hey, if you've seen it, click on it. Go do the dishes or something. Let the music play. Let the ads play. See if we can get 50 to 100 people to do that, to wake up that video, see if that'll jumpstart it, and I will let you know what happens. So, all right, guys. I hope everybody has a good, safe weekend. Happy trails.